What is faith? I think for some people that may pose a question where you assume some unsubstantiated belief in this thing that doesn't exist. But I want to talk about the faith that comes from preparation and certainty as in yourself outside of the realm of religion and spirituality. This is not a conversation about religion or spirituality. It's more so a conversation of preparation and being intentional on the path that you're on. I think a lot of times we have a tendency to take for granted the preparation that we actually have in life. And as we move through different situations, just kind of thinking that things are going to go one way or the other, that we are not understanding how much we are actually training for our destiny or our path without sometimes even noticing it. There's a situation that happened to me that I kind of want to share with you guys that gave me a light bulb moment. And, it's funny because it's the simplest thing, but the life lesson that came with it was so vast and reassuring that I feel like it's necessary for me to share with you guys. So I started with a trainer a little over a month ago. Her name is Charlestina Hyde. Shout out to her. I'm already down 10 pounds, so she's doing her thing. And in this particular time period, I'm getting ready to get a new phone. And I'm thinking to myself, I need to be able to get to my training session without GPS, just in case this phone that I'm waiting for doesn't show up on time. Am I gonna get lost? This place is like 20 minutes away from me. I've only been a couple times and I'm not sure. There's a lot of twists and turns, up and down hills. I'm not sure whether or not I can get there without the GPS. And I've always said to myself that I was directionally challenged and I'm horrible with my left and right. I'll probably get lost, blah, blah, blah. So as I'm waiting on this new phone to show up, I think to myself, this is actually a great time to challenge this narrative that I have about myself, especially because if the phone doesn't show up in time, that's a horrible excuse for me not to show up to training, and I'm only a few weeks in at the time. So I challenged myself to go to my next session without using the GPS just to see whether or not I could remember how to get there. So I set out, and initially I'm thinking to myself, if I were to try and tell someone where I'm going, there's no way I'd be able to. I couldn't remember the street names, whether I go left or right, whatever. It was more so, I'm just gonna give it a shot and we'll see what happens. I start out and I'm driving, and it's the strangest thing because as I come to each light or turn, stop sign, intersection, it's as though the path just kind of unfolded in front of me. And I realize, okay, I recognize this building, or I recognize this intersection, make a left here or turn right there. And the more that I realized that was happening, the more it dawned on me that because I had been a few times, whether I was paying attention really or not, subconsciously I had taken in all of those things around me that would have given me everything I needed to be able to get myself where I'm going. It kind of was this huge light bulb moment. Like, this is literally an act of faith. This is exactly how faith works. You are intentional. If you are intentional, you're paying attention to that preparation as it's happening. But it's not to take for granted that sometimes we're not. We're just not paying attention. And subconsciously, you're preparing for something because events are cyclical. The people that you meet are the same people over and over again, reincarnated in different bodies. The situations that you find yourself in are cyclical. It's all the same things. So whether we're talking your employer, your coworkers, your friends, your family, relationships, past lovers, whatever that looks like for you, those experiences that you've had are all preparing you for where you're going on your path, whether you're paying attention to it or not. What I found to be true in that moment, in a very practical way, was if I lean into the fact that I can trust myself, that even if I don't technically know where I'm going, I know where I'm going because I've been here before, then I could kind of relax a little bit and trust that when I came to that next intersection, I would know whether to go left or right. And the thing about trusting ourselves, as opposed to simply relying on some unseen force, some higher power, is that there's a level of accountability that we have to take. And, the onus is on us to get intentional about those seasons, those interactions, those encounters, and be intentional about taking those lessons in those instances. Because yes, you are doing the same things over and over, and after a while it becomes habitual and you think you know because you've been here before. But if you really get down in there in those moments while things are happening, you realize the small lessons that you may have missed if you weren't paying attention that make the path that much easier for you as it is unfolding. I remember seeing a meme on, I think it was Facebook or Instagram, and it was this drawn out stick figure, and then it literally said an illustration of how faith works. And this person is climbing up a ladder, and every single time they reach for that ladder, another rung appears, another rung appears. And every time, at first when they're reaching, it's not there. But when they put their hand up, there's that rung. And that's the exact illustration of how faith works. It's leaning into the power of your intention, your preparation, your experiences, but also trusting that all of those things are going to send you in the direction that you're supposed to be going. And that any room you find yourself in, any conversation you're having, any meeting that's coming, whatever may be on its way for you, you're ready for it. Because even if you haven't been here before, you've been here before.